Hey guys, buckle up because it's How to Wednesday and we are serving up some serious knowledge bombs. Today, we've got Tony joining us live from the heart of Uganda. Get ready to be inspired by his incredible insights on Black Magic Supersource, a powerful feature available on certain Black Magic design atom switchers. It acts like a separate 5-layer switcher within your main switcher, allowing you to create multi-input compositions with incredible flexibility. And today, Tony is going to show us how to go about using it. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Tony. Hi, Tony.
Hey, hey, hey. Hi,
Welcome to
Mary.
How to Wednesday. Hi.
Thank you.
How have you
Thank you.
been?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Ah,
Humbled to have you on this show.
thank you so much. I'm really
Yeah,
honored
and
to
we are
be here.
very excited to learn about the super source thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so I
Mm.
think we go straight into the super source.
Okay. Yeah, we
Yeah,
can go.
so to you now.
I think. Mm.
Okay.
All right. Yes, thank you so much. For
Mhm.
today, we are going to learn about SuperSource.
Yeah.
It's a feature that is available in atom switchers, but not
Mhm.
all atom switchers. For example,
Mhm.
today I'm going to be demonstrating. I'll be using my Atom Mini. I think you
Mhm.
can see it here.
Mhm.
Yeah, Atom Mini Extreme.
Mhm.
So at least for the Extreme,
Mhm.
it has the super source feature available to it. It is one of the few switchers at a low price point that have the super source switcher. I mean the super source feature available in it.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you look at our Atom Mini Extreme,
Mhm.
it has eight inputs
Mhm.
that are available to it. So it meaning that you can use eight cameras and also has two outputs
Mhm.
to for your multi-view and also for your program. So the super source feature,
Mhm.
as you can see it,
Mhm.
is just hold on 1 minute so that you can be able to see me. So the super source feature um, is a feature that allows you to at least to lay over up to a maximum of about 4 cameras on the
Mhm.
same source, on the same video. For example, if you're watching news, sometimes you see two people interacting. You
Mhm.
see the presenter on TV who is hosting a guest,
Mhm.
and then you see the other person, but on the same screen.
Mhm.
So ideally, when you have our normal switchers, for example, let me enable, let me just show you here the button to enable the super source feature. So right on top of where you see media player one, I don't know if you are able to see it,
Yeah, from our end, yes.
Mary.
Yes, yes.
Yes, you're able to see it. So right next to it is where you see S hyphen SRC. So that means super source in full. So if I
Mhm.
press it
Mhm.
right now on my preview, I'm
Mhm.
able to see two screens. So if I cut to it, now you're able to see me and my Atom Mini. So right now, here I'm using that feature of Super Source. So how does it help you? When,
Mhm.
for example, you're doing a presentation, you could have me right here in this camera, and then next to me, I think it is this side, sorry, this side,
Mhm.
you're able to see the atom.
Yeah.
So right there, I'm using the super source feature. So the best way to use the super source feature to enable it,
Mhm.
it's better to use the software, the Atom Mini. I mean
Mhm.
the Atom software that controls
Yeah.
the Atom device. So if I can shift right now to my software, so on my right, Is it my right or left?
I don't know if it's right or left.
It's my what?
I'm not sure.
And I'm looking at o- on my side. On my side.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think on your side it's now the left.
Yeah.
Uh, my left. I think it's on my left. Yeah. So on my left, you can see the software.
Mhm.
And if you if you go to the palette, once you open up your software, so if you want to open up your software, if you're using a Windows machine, if you're using a Windows machine, you just go to your programs and then you look for Blackmagic. If you've installed it, it is free. First of all, it's a free software that
Wow.
Blackmagic made available for
Mhm.
everyone who has a device of
Mhm.
Blackmagic. So it's not a paid, it's not a paid software, actually free software
Okay.
that you can use to to dig deep into the other functions
Mm.
of of our Atom switchers. Other other switchers, the professional switchers don't have physical buttons like how you can see right now on my Atom.
Mhm.
We don't have those buttons available. But now on the Atom Mini Extreme, those
Mhm.
buttons are available, and even that feature of SOAP is available. Before, that feature used to be only available in the high-end switchers, like for example, the production studio switchers, the broadcast switchers, which are really on the high end in terms of pricing. So Blackmagic, with their good heart, as always, provided this feature
Mhm.
for the low-priced switchers, like the Atom Mini Extreme. It's a switcher I
Mhm.
think that is below $2,000.
Mhm.
Other switchers would cost from $4,000 to $5,000.
Mhm.
So it's really wonderful that Blackmagic really came up and provided this feature to be
Mhm.
available
Yeah.
for for these low-priced switchers. For example, people who stream, this can be a church, it
Mhm.
can be a small business, people who do live streaming as a business.
Mhm.
So it enables them at that low price to be able to have this powerful feature
Mhm.
available to them at a very low cost. So now if we move back to our software on my left, you go to Blackmagic. Once you've installed the software, you go to Blackmagic and then you see Atom Control. So right now mine is already open. That's why you're able to see it. But once it is open, you're able to see that software. I won't go so much details into how the installation. That could be another video. That will the how-to program will show you how to install and even connect to the software.
Mhm.
So on the palette, if you move to the palette that is on your right hand side of the software,
Mhm.
you can
Mhm.
see how my mouse is moving, the right end. You see different items. We have the color generators. Now we have Supersource available. If you have an Atom Mini Pro, it doesn't have Supersource, so you won't see that feature
Mhm.
available. But on
Yeah.
the Atom Mini Extreme, you'll see it available. So you have the different upstream keys and the transitions, the downstream keys, and whatever. So today we are going to talk about Supersource.
Mhm.
So right now on my screen, what you're seeing me using is actually Supersource. I've
Mhm.
put art. What you see in my background is art. It's a picture that I've used. So if I move to my media, you can see this picture right here
Mhm.
in my media player one. So you can have so many. I could even change this to a different picture. So once I move it there, you will see my background changing.
Mhm. Change it.
So right now, I'm only using this picture to provide
Mhm.
art. So this is part of creativity. It depends on how you want your background to look, what you want. You even have an actual video. When you use
Mhm.
Supersource, you could have a video actually in your background, but using a video as your background. So if I move back, so you can see media player one in my field source in the background. So Blackmagic, as the software comes, it comes with presets of
Mhm.
of what you can do. So right here you can see two. So if I just click this, you would see my screen changing to that. So you have my other camera. So if I can change my camera to, let me say, 5, you can see my Atom right now in that camera, in that second video, in the second box. So if I move back to my previous what I had. Now you see this other preset. These are all presets that Blackmagic provides you by default. So if I click on this particular one, you would see 3 screens now being displayed. So I have my 2 cameras in those particular boxes. So now if I move back to this, and still see this. So to enable this, on the software itself, right now my Supersource is on program. If you can look at
Yeah.
on, I have a program row right up here, the row right here. So both on preview and program, I have the Supersource button in the software. So sometimes it is easier. I would I would really advise you to use the software because there are more features that you can work with in the software more than the physical buttons. Because right now on the if I move back to my switcher, I only have one button for Supersource. So this can either go into my preview or program. But in case I want to preview what I see, what I'm going to put on air before I take it on, is where I would have it. Is where I would advise you to use the software. So in the software, I can have this on preview. I cannot show you my preview, but right now that is what is on my preview. Supersource is on my preview. So you may not want the look that Blackmagic provides you, and you want to create your own look. So what this one helps you, if you go down here in the box control, now we have the layout, but now we have box control. So box control it shows you what camera you have in the different boxes available in Supersource. So because remember I told you that now Supersource enables you to have up to 4 camera inputs shown live on air. Other switches normally have DVEs, but those would be like you only have like 2 cameras present and you cannot manipulate them. They would manipulate Supersource. For example, if we go back to the Atom, right here, you have the upstream key. So these are presets for the keys. If you can see right here, so you only have these presets in corners. For the Atom Mini Extreme, you can change a little bit of the way these ones are set. But now for the defaults, these are the only ones. So you can only do up to only 2 cameras. But now when you move to Supersource, you can have now 4 cameras, which can even change in the way you want them to look on screen. So now if I move back to software, you can have different cameras. For example, right now, I have my camera 2 in box 1. But so if I change to, let me say camera 3, you will see my Atom. If I change it to now camera 8, there is nothing in camera 8, but there's something in camera 7. So you can see the same program, the same camera in both. So if I bring myself back to camera 2, you'll see me again. So that now covers box 1. So same thing if you go to box 2, the same feature in box 3. So you can have all these cameras and you can change whatever you want in those cameras. So apart from just selecting the camera, if I let me say camera 4, I have what you're seeing on my left. So I can manipulate the size of the box. So to do that, you can either click, if you can see the up and down arrows, you can see my camera expanding. Here I'm changing the size of my camera. You can also move your mouse to the size. You can now use it and slide it right on the left. You can see it downsizing or upsizing. So this is much easier to use since it is more interactive or granular. And then I can also change the position. Right now, seem to be in the same position. But if now move to the position, I can change my Y and X axis, meaning the X determines the horizontal axis on which where my video will be located. So a similar thing, you can either use the buttons to move your box in whatever direction you want, or you can move it on the horizontal axis, or you can still go where you see the X is where you can now use your mouse to move. So this is much easier to move. You can also punch in numbers. For example, now I'm on 5.88. Let me say I can change it. If I know my positions, I can just put 5, then the box will shift to that particular position. Let me say I'm going to put 6. So if I click 6, you'll see it moving. If I know my exact position, let me say if I put 10, the box will move in that position where I've put it. So this enables you to control the size of your and the positioning of your box. On top of that, you can crop. So now if you move to the crop position, remember here we are controlling the box. Now we are moving to crop. You may want to crop off certain items from the box. For example, right now I'm interacting with this palette. So I may not really have so much to talk about in this other position. So what I would do, I would crop off that end that I do not want. So if I keep moving that, you'll see it takes a bit of time, but let me crop it off. This is left to right, and this is right to left. So I don't know if you can see it moving.
Yeah.
You see it on top? How it is cropping it off? For example, it's cropping off my menu, or I can put it back. Sorry, this is positioning. Sorry. Let me first put it back. So I was interacting with crop, so I pressed the wrong side. So I can crop off my left. Let me say I'm going to crop off 5.5. You see it being cropped off. Let me just click 5. You'll see a percentage of my crop. I think you're seeing it.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm only dealing with a palette. So let me change this figure maybe to 10, and I see how far it will go. So you can see it moving. So as I'm doing that, I can now go back to the positioning, and I move it closer to me. Or let me say I can put it somewhere on the side.
Yeah.
And and now I continue cropping off more from the left. Let me put 15. Yeah, 15. So you can see with 15, a lot more has gone off. So I can move it. I can go now to my positioning and move it to the left a little bit. And then I can increase the size. So that now whatever I'm showing here. So what we normally do, we'll do this before the show begins. Don't try it in the middle of the show as you're seeing it here, because it needs a bit of time to set yourself up. So I would advise everyone who's going to use this feature that you need to do these settings before you go on air, or before you do whatever show you're going to do about that.
Yeah.
So to do that, because sometimes once you, for example, right now, I've made my settings, the ones that I had before. Let me say I've increased this one to a bigger size, to a smaller size. But then once I click this, all my features are gone. So normally what I would do in this instance is that I would set what we call macros for my atom to remember my settings, so that I can just click one button and then my settings are done. So what I would do in this scenario is I would go to macros. If you look at the software, after file we have macros. Macros, this is just a sequence of actions that you're going to do. You're going to record them and store them, so that every time you click them, the item is able to remember and bring whatever you've said on air. So if I click macros, I'm going to record a macro right now. So there are different positions. If you go back to the atom, if you on the atom mini extreme, there's a section where you see the word macro right here. So these are positions for where you can store macros. You can store more than this, but the atom mini Extreme provides you a shortcut, but physical buttons which you can click and bring your macros on air. Meaning whatever programming you've done, you're able to bring it fast on air. So, so if let me just go to my camera 7 that has the software. Let me cut to that because I want to take the super source of air. So if you look at my screen right here, you see a mark. You see this way you're going to store your macro. So this is position 1. To record a macro, on top you have create and you have run. So you go to create, click the position and you add a macro, and then you give it a name. Let me, for example, I'm going to name it. I'm going to name it Mary.
Sorry, Tony, we can't see that back here. I think you have to switch.
You can't
See how you
Oh,
created the
sorry.
macro thing? Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought. Oh, so sorry. I had it in preview. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interacting with the item, right? I'm looking at my multi view instead of looking at. So let me go back.
Yeah.
So you go to macros.
Mm-hmm.
There's file, then macros. So like I've said before, macros are just a program you're going to do and store and record whatever you've set quickly. So you click macros. So on this, so on the macros tab, you're able to see create and run, right? So on create, you choose a position you want your macro to be. So this is position 1. If you remember my previous, I've shown you the different positions on macro on the Atom Mini Extreme. So once you click that position, then you click create. So you can give your macro a name. So I'm going to name mine once again to Mary. Hmm? So whatever I'm going to do after I press record, it's this the Atom is going to be recording everything I'm going to be doing. Once I click record, so right now it's going to begin recording. So I'm going to select, let me say this preset is what I'm going to manipulate. So if I go now back to, if I enable my super source, right now, that's what you're seeing on screen, right?
Yeah.
So if I go back to my settings, if I now here, so you may not really see how I'm doing it, but if you remember what we had talked about, that box 1 has camera 2, I'm going to do, let me say a few changes. Let me try to do that now using my super source enabled,
Yeah.
so that you can see exactly what I'm doing in both in both in both screens. So that is on my right hand. Let me just use this. Let me just change. Probably the easiest will be for me to just change what I have right here. So I'm going to, let me do what I done before. I'm going to go to box 2, change that positioning. The other thing that you need to do if you want to work, for example, with boxes, you need to disable all the other boxes. So what you do, I'm going to disable box 3. You see enable box? I'm going to disable box 3 and box 4, so that I only work with box 1 and box 2. So box 2 has my camera 5 in this. If you're able to see it,
Yeah.
it has box. I'm in box 2. So I'm only using these 2 boxes. So I'm going to change the positioning of myself. For example, I'm going to just move it this side. make it a little bit smaller. Let me make it bigger. Let me make it smaller. Another thing you need to remember is that the positioning of your boxes depends of your cameras. If you see box 1 and 3, so box 1 is on top, box 2 is below. So if you're arranging your boxes on the screen, they interact that way. Box 1 is on top of all other boxes. So you have to remember this as you're doing this. For example, now if you see me, if I change to box 2, if I go to my positioning, you see it is going under box 1. That's why it's important to remember this. You may say, but I want to bring my box in front, yet it may not really what happen.
Yeah.
So let me say I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to leave it there, make it slightly bigger in size. So for this not to happen on air, I'm going to add a pause of 1 frame. I record that, then I click Supersource, then I stop my recording. So right now, the atom has recorded all whatever I've done. So if I go back to this, I think you're going to see all my cameras. But now if I go back to the boxes I was using before, let me say I've gone back to this. And see here Mary. Once I click Mary, oh sorry, you go to run, don't create, you go to run, and then you click Mary. I think I didn't record it properly. Yeah. I think you can see it on air. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, if I had 4 boxes on, those are 3. Let me say if I have 4 boxes. So if you click Mary, okay, let me switch to my atom in 5. So if you look at my atom now, if I go and click position 1, right? Once I click it, it goes back to that position immediately that I had set. So that's how you can quickly use macros to recall positions. That's why they're super helpful when you are doing that. So after you've done all your arrangement, after you've done all your settings, that's how you can quickly recall your super sources. I think that's our time is far gone. Let me stop there. But I think that was enough for people to learn on how you can use super source and
Yes.
manipulate different positions of different positions of the atom. So even you're seeing me using, I'm using still super source,
Yeah.
be able to put those uh, different cameras on air or different inputs on air. So you can do the same with the Atom Mini Extreme. Sometimes when people buy atoms, they just use them to switch only. It's like buying a phone. You have an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and all you do is to text, even using SMS or just WhatsApping, and don't use other features. So the Atom Mini Extreme has so many features. We've not talked about other features. For example, you can add DVEs. DVEs is just a digital video effect on top of your super source. So then now you can have now six inputs on your single screen. That is on the Atom Mini Extreme. Thank you, Mary. I hope that
Wow.
was insightful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tony, for the overview. That was so interesting and informative. And the fact that the software is
Yeah.
free of charge, I mean, that's the real deal right there. And now I can't wait to start using the super source back here. So before I let you go, I know you are a busy man, but
Yes.
before I let you go, I have a couple of questions for you. So the first question is, to clarify, can you elaborate on the differences
Yes.
between using SuperSource and the main emitters on the Atom switcher? What's the difference?
And yeah, for example, the Atom Mini Extreme doesn't have MEs. MEs is actually a mixed effect. It is a channel or a bus where you can now compose different effects. For example, what we have done, super source
Mhm.
is an effect that is on available on the ME.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, when I go streaming,
Mhm.
I use the Atom Constellation 2ME HD.
Mm.
So the 2ME, these are different. Uh, these are different. Let me say, programming that you have on the same switcher. For
Mm.
example, you could have. It's more of having one or more switchers in
Mhm.
the same switch. Mm. For example, you have program and preview on one channel, you have
Yeah.
program and review on another channel. For example, there's a 4ME.
Mhm.
So those are just they used to compose, but then the super source is just a feature that you can now find in the ME.
Oh.
So certain switchers in the Atom line
Mhm.
have 4MEs, and even each ME has its own super source. So
Wow.
meaning you can compose now more, you can compose more in each different super
Mm.
source and bring everything on.
Wow.
So super
Wow.
source is a feature, while the
Mhm.
other one is a channel, a bus, where you
Mhm.
can now do composition. Yeah,
Okay. My next question
yeah,
is, can you share some
yes.
examples of how you've used the super source to enhance your productions?
For example, when I go out to streaming, I do different events.
Mhm.
Let me say, if it is a conference, you
Mhm.
could have a presenter. They have come with their PowerPoint
Mhm.
presentation.
Yeah.
So what would normally happen is you either have the presenter on screen or
Mhm.
their presentation.
Yeah.
So you're caught in a situation you have to choose which one of the two
Mm.
should
Mm.
go on air
Mm.
or that should be seen.
Yeah.
Can also happen within the venue or people who are watching online, maybe it could be on Zoom, on
Mm.
YouTube, yeah, depending. So what
Yeah.
Supersource helps you to do is you can have those two people on the
Mhm.
same screen. Now that is now for who are doing presentations. So you have the person, for example, what I've been doing right now, you've been seeing me presenting the Atom. So this is the best feature that you can see me talking, but you can also see the Atom software that I'm interacting with. So that is one way. Sometimes we do hybrid events. We have people who are online, and then we have people who are virtual. So it could be one or two or three people who are presenting. So because normally what would happen is you would need a software to help you to do that. For example, I don't want to mention the softwares, but the different softwares, you need to have another input into your computer so that you're able now to have those two interacting.
Mm.
Because events are it's a mission critical, you
Mhm.
want to do everything hardware.
Yeah.
Because software can fail you, but the
Mhm.
attempt may not fail. Eh?
Yeah.
It's 99.9%. It's very hard for software to fail you, but software can easily fail you. Computer can freeze because the atom is built for to do just one thing, one feature. It doesn't do calls, it doesn't do anything. It does mixing, like mixing different features, but doing that one feature. So for me, I would trust the atom more than I would trust my computer.
Mm.
So I would have a laptop with a presentation coming into my atom as an input. So what SuperSource helps me to do is to have now that physical input in my atom and I have it shown on screen. So I'm not worried something is going to pop up, the computer is going to freeze, the computer is going to do the other thing, or the software is going to freeze because now you're having a software interacting in another software, yet hardware is more reliable, like the atom
Mm.
is more. I mean, I've never had it fail on all the time I've been using it.
Mm.
So now you're able now to bring in your presentation and the
Mhm.
person speaking. So
Yeah.
if it's a conference, you have virtual hybrid event. So I would still have, let me say, I have my Zoom computer somewhere,
Mhm.
or what we normally Zoom drone. So I have that output coming physically into my Atom
Mm.
as an input. So
Mm.
even if there are four presenters, I would
Mm.
pin each presenter on a laptop and have them coming into my Atom, because this is mission critical. We don't want it to fail.
Mm.
So I would use now Supersource to
Mhm.
bring all my 3 guests. If I use this example now on my Atom, I'm going to change to, if these were 3 people, I would have them, this is now yours, I would have the 3 guests coming on air. If there are 4, they would still interact as 4 people. So you would have me in this set, and then the other guests in the other sets. If it is a presentation, I would have probably the main person
Mhm.
in that main box that is talking, and then you have me and other guests in. It depends on how you want it to happen.
Mhm.
So that is how I would use Supersource. If it is a
Mhm.
church, you could have scriptures displayed
Yeah.
on one end. For example, if I go back to this, I would have the preacher where I am, and then
Yeah.
the scriptures they're talking about in
Mhm. The other box.
in okay in my in my left. So the preacher would be uh, talking right, and then the scriptures
Mhm.
in the other box. So
Mm.
that is which I stream for. So I normally use that for conferences. What I've
Yeah.
shown before is where I would use those other features. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, my last question is, any tips for beginners
Very
like
last
me?
one, eh?
Like me, yes, this is the last one. Any tips for beginners
Okay.
like me who want to get
Hmm.
started with the super sauce? Any tips you have for them?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like I've said before,
Yeah.
one, Supersource is your friend. It's not very
Mhm.
hard.
Yeah.
Everything about Black Magic
Mhm.
is they have simplified every process. It
Mhm.
can be the camera. For example, right now I'm using different Black Magic cameras.
Yes.
I have a Pocket 6K Pro.
Mhm.
I have a Studio 4K Pro, and
Mhm.
I have the Blackmagic Pocket 4K.
Mhm. Mhm.
So what you're looking at now is the 6K Pro,
Mhm.
and the way it showed had the six. I mean the 4K, the Studio 4K Pro,
Mhm.
and then what you are seeing on the Atom,
Mhm.
that was the 4K with different lenses. So I think my I've not frozen for any one point because whatever I'm using here is Blackmagic. So even the software is not frozen. It is still Black
They have
Magic.
the
So
hardware.
Supersource is your friend. So yeah.
Mm.
So you just take it step by step.
Mhm.
One is about your creativity. What do you want to see on screen? What I
Mhm.
showed you in the palette
Mhm.
side is where you go and manipulate whatever you want to see, and then you can store it the way I've shown you how to create macros, so that it
Mhm.
is easy and straightforward. Supersource is your friend, and it's something you really need to use
Yeah.
in the Atom
Mhm.
products which have Supersource. I think
Mhm.
Merica, you can tell us more of the Atom, not the Atom Minis, the Atom product which
Yes.
has them, because someone may go ahead and
Yes.
buy an Atom
Yes.
Mini Pro
Yes.
thinking it has Supersource.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll
So
be
there's a
sharing.
line of products, for
Sorry.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me talk about the few. We
Okay.
have the Atom Mini Extreme.
Yeah.
We have the Atom Mini Extreme,
Mhm.
Extreme ISO,
Yeah.
Atom Mini SDI. We have, I
Mhm.
mean, Atom Mini Extreme SDI. We have
Mhm.
the Atom Mini Extreme SDI ISO. We
Mhm.
have the Atom Constellation D
Mhm.
2ME. The
Yeah.
2ME, remember the Atom Constellation 2ME is the one that has super source.
Yeah.
Then the Atom Constellation
Mhm.
HD
Mhm.
4ME. And then we have the Atom Constellation
Yeah.
4K
Mhm.
and the Atom Constellation 8K,
Yes.
the Production Studio 4K. We
Yeah.
have the Atom Broadcast 4K. I think those are the ones, but I think you'll have displayed somewhere so people can see which Atom products that have SuperSource available in them.
Yeah. I'll do
Because I
that.
know these products are available at Highway Audio Visual.
Yes.
Because that's where I actually got my Atom Actually, all my products have come from Highway Audiovisual, and they have been working non-stop. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for today. I think now I
Yes.
can let you go.
Yeah. Thank you very
It's been
much. It has been
it's been nice. It's been really
it's been
nice having
wonderful.
you here. It's been nice having you here, and I'm looking forward to more of this.
All right.
Yeah, thank you
Okay. Have
so
a good day.
much. Okay, bye. Let me
Mm.
finish
And
this
greet
now.
everyone at Highway. All right. Okay.
Oh, okay, bye bye. So thank you so much, Tony, for today. And that has been it from us. I mean, Tony and I, of course. So to purchase any of those art and switchers, kindly give us a call at 0796 262028, or you can visit our website at www.highwayav.co.ke. Until next time, bye.